Welcome. Today I am going to cover a very important topic, and this is going to be the $1,000,000 question, and this is going to be the question that every chartered accountant is having in his mind. That is, the questions are: can a chartered accountant sign the projected statement or provisional statement? Second question, whether UDIN has to be generated for signing those provisional statement or projected statement. These two questions I am going to discuss through this video. Kindly watch till the end, because this is going to be a very interesting session presentation. Please watch, and if you have got any doubt, if you differ with my view, you can tell through the message. These are the basic questions that are taking place nowadays. Whenever any client approaches a bank for his loan, the bankers asked to produce 3 years balance sheet and a provisional statement and a projected statement. Besides, bankers ask the client to get the signatures in the projected statement and provisional statement from his auditors or from his chartered accountant. When you refuse to do the same, that means when a CA refuses to do the same, the bankers will say that other chartered accountants are doing, why not you? Why not your auditor? Otherwise, few bankers may direct your client to go to other auditors who have signed the projected statement to get their signature. This will make yourself to lose your client. This is the basic fear that all the practicing chartered accountants they are having in their mind. When bankers ask me to do the same for my client, I ask the branch manager, sir, can you produce any circular issued by your head office regarding signing of provisional statement and projected statement? Then after my presentation, after my discussion, the manager has accepted the balance sheet, projected statement and provisional statement by getting the signature from the client, and it is not signed by me because they informed that there is no such circular. So whenever any banker directed you to sign, kindly ask the manager, sir, can you provide any circular regarding this? This is because I am going to discuss further. This you have to bear in mind. In order to solve this issue, I went further and read Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. There I found a solution for this question. I am going to say this to you, and observation made is from my angle only. I request everyone to go through class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. The same is published in the Code of Ethics book volume 2 page 108, 109, which is also available in our institute website. You go there and you can download the Code of Ethics book. Then there you can find. That is in volume 2, it is published, page number 108 and 109. I am going to read class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. A chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he permits his name or the name of his firm to be used in connection with an estimate of earnings contingent upon future transactions in a manner which lead to the belief that he vouches the accuracy of the forecast. Here, two things we have to see. One is estimate of earnings and contingent upon future transactions. Kindly note that a chartered accountant should not vouch the future transactions and its accuracy in forecast of estimated earnings. This means a chartered accountant should not sign a projected statement or a provisional statement. Normally, a projected statement is prepared based on the assumption and estimation on the future forecasting. Provisional statement is also a statement which is not an audited one. So that is also treated to be a projected statement because it is not based on the audited figure. CMA is also a combination of audited and provisional and projected statement. Hence, as per the class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949, no chartered accountant can sign the projected statement and provisional statement including CMA. Otherwise, they are deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. But through class, that is class 3 or subclass 1 of schedule 2, the council has issued standard on assurance engagement SAE 3400, a reporting guideline on profit forecast and our financial forecast. This means if SAE 300 is followed, then the member is not held guilty of professional misconduct. I am not confusing you. Kindly watch. At the end, we will definitely come to a standard conclusion. I am going to read SAE 300 for your reference. The examination of prospective financial information which is effective in relation to reports on projections or forecasts issued on or after 1/4/2007. Pursuant to the issue of this standard, the guidance note on accountant's report on profit forecast under financial forecast issued in September 1982 stands withdrawn. The guidance provided in this standard is in line with the provisions of Class 3 of Part 1 of the second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. As per the opinion of the Council, while finalizing the guidance note on accountant's report on profit forecast and our financial forecast at its 100th meeting held on 22nd through 24th July 1982, a chartered accountant can participate in the preparation of profit or financial forecast and can review them provided he indicates clearly in his report the source of information, the basis of forecast, and also the major assumption made in arriving at the forecast, and so long as he does not vouch for accuracy, does not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. So he can participate in the preparation, but he should not vouch for the accuracy of the forecast. The council has further opined that the same opinion will also apply to projections made on the basis of hypothetical assumptions about the future events and management actions which are not necessarily expected to take place so long as the auditor does not vouch for the accuracy of the projection. Further, the attention of the members is drawn to the guidance note on reports in company prospectus that is revised in 2019, issued by the council in January 2019. This guidance note provides on compliance with the provisions of Companies Act of 2013 and Securities and Exchange Board of India issue of Capital Disclosure Requirements Regulation Act for Regulations of 2018 relating to the reports required to be issued by a chartered accountant in prospectus issued by the companies for the offering made in India. Now, with reference to SAE 3400, I am going to highlight the following which are important, because I am going to highlight the SAE 3400. To express in general or narrative terms, SAE 3400 is not applicable. The principles of standards on accounting should be used as much as possible by the chartered accountant. Now, one has to understand the term prospective financial information. It means the financial information which is prepared based on the assumption about the occurrence of future and possible actions by an entity. It is highly subject oriented in nature, and considerable judgment is required in preparation of this exercise. In SAE 3400 clearly says that chartered accountant can assist in preparing the projections. It is a duty of the management to prepare the financial projections. So it is a duty of the management to prepare the financial projections. The projections can be prepared and used as an internal management tool. Prospective financial information is the estimate of future results which is used by the management and treated as evidence in future oriented and speculative transactions. The chartered accountant and the client should agree on the terms of engagement as per SA 210. This means the client and CA must enter into agreement to prepare the projections. The CA should accept the engagement only if the projections are clearly realistic or prospective financial information will be appropriate for the intended use, otherwise he should not. This means the CA should satisfy himself in advance while preparing the projected statements and provisional statements. The CA should clearly understand the business of the client before preparing the projections. It is being prepared by the client and he is also a part of to prepare the projections. So the CA should consider all the relevant facts and effect on the current examination before preparing the projected statements. The prospective financial information should consider the operating cycle, the degree of reliability of assumption, and the need of the users of business. Timing and extent of examination of procedures should also be considered while determining the nature of business. Reliability and source of evidence in support of management's best estimate assumption should be analyzed by CA. While considering the source of evidence, the CA should analyze the budget, the project sold, other agreements as internal source. Whereas for external source, the CA should give importance towards government policy, industrial publication, economic forecast, etc. The assumptions worked out in the projection should be realistic. For example, if in the last year the sales would be around say 2 crore and the next year it will normally increase by 25%, but in the projections it should not be made for 20 crores, which is 10 times higher, tenfold when compared to the last year transactions. While preparing the prospective financial information, the management assumptions have to be borne in mind. The areas which are sensitive and those areas which affect materially should also be considered by the CA. All the important aspects of financial statements should be considered, including interrelationship between all aspects. In case if the projected financial statement is prepared in the mid-year, the remaining period of the projection should be considered along with the actuals taken place. Before preparation of the projected financial statement, the CA must obtain written representation from the management with a specific reference to the intended usage and its persons, management assumptions, management responsibility, etc. The CA should also see while preparing the projected financial information that those information will not mislead anyone, evidence of examination, working purpose in support of information, hypothetical assumptions details, management responsibilities, audit plan, etc. So these are things the CA has to consider while preparing the projected statement. The prospective financial information should contain the title, addressee, identification of the prospective financial information and other points mentioned what we have discussed, and also the date of signing. Everything should be there in the prospective financial information. Then prospective financial information should not be signed by the CA and the same has to be signed by the management. And if CA has to sign, you should satisfy SAE 300 in detail. All points mentioned in SAE 3400. Otherwise, the CA will be held guilty of professional misconduct. At this juncture, I want to mention about the decision given by the Calcutta High Court in one case that CA is made as, chartered accountant is made as co-accused for preparing false projected financials for bank loans, though that CA was absolved by the disciplinary committee of ICA. So Calcutta High Court has clearly said that if any CA was preparing false projected financials, then he should be held responsible. So based on the above discussion that I had made so far, I submit my view that no chartered accountant should sign the provisional statement or projected statement. Otherwise, the chartered accountants are held responsible or held as professional guilty of misconduct as per class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949 and non-adherence to SAE 3400. But CA can help the client in preparation of the projected statement and provisional statement and ask the client to sign the same, and that should not be signed by the CA who helped the client to prepare the projected report and the provisional report. In case bankers directed the client to submit the projected statement and provisional statement, the CA, a chartered accountant, can refer that he will not sign by quoting class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. Whatever I stated here is my view in this topic. Can a CA sign the projected statement and provisional statement or not? It is up to the members to decide on their own after going through the following matters once again. That is, I request everyone to go through class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. The same is published in Code of Ethics book volume 2, page number 108-109, which is available in our institute web page, as well as SAE 3400. That is, it stated once again, a chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he permits his name or the name of his firm to be used in connection with an estimate of earnings contingent upon future transactions in a manner which lead to the belief that he vouches the accuracy of the forecast. To sign the projected statement and provisional statement, a chartered accountant should not generate UDIN. This is my view. Once again, I request the members kindly go through class 3 of part 1 of second schedule of Chartered Accountants Act of 1949, because this class is available since 1949. So suppose if bankers insist, then you can refer this and you can ask for their circular, because our institute has clearly stated that a member is held guilty of professional misconduct if he gives his name or the name of his firm for the future projections, unless until he satisfies SAE 3400. But for me, from my view, I am of the opinion that we members, this is personally my view, it is up to you to decide, but we need not sign those projected statement, because it is very difficult if the projections go wrong. Because Calcutta High Court also clarified that if any CA is given false projection, then he will also be held responsible. So this is my view with reference to the question, can a chartered accountant sign the projected statement and provisional statement, and whether he can generate UDIN to sign those projected statement and provisional statement. So for me, it is no, you are not, I will not sign the projected statement and the provisional statement, plus I will not generate UDIN to sign those statements. Kindly, I request once again to go through the Chartered Accountants Act of 1949, and I also need your view on this point. And thank you very much for watching this video presentation. Nandri, Vanakkam.